In this video tutorial, we take a look at the Resurface button on the MUA Retouch panel. The Resurface button was designed to work almost like a very powerful resurfacing exfoliant. You can use it to fix raised skin blemishes, scarring, or a rash, any skin issues that have a combination of texture and color problems, and which are too large in size to use just a simple retouching tool such as the clone stamp tool or healing brush tool to fix them with. There are many additional ways the Resurface button can be useful. You can soften areas of flaky, dry skin around the mouth or nostrils. You can fix chapped lips. And you can also minimize the appearance of facial hair and peach fuzz, clean up the hairline of baby hairs, and even fix creases in the folds of the model's garment when needed. In general, all skin issues that we correct in post-production can be broken up into 3 groups. The first group is luminosity issues. Luminosity issues are typically small and large, subtle shifts in lightness of the skin that can appear in an image due to an uneven skin surface, raised larger blemishes, and just an uneven skin tone. The next group are color issues. And color issues are those issues that can usually be either the areas around currently inflamed blemishes, or acne scarring that is not quite yet healed, or uneven skin tone that has a little redness in it, and so on. And the last group is texture issues. Texture issues are those smallest details that break up the natural appearance of the skin texture, such as areas of dry, flaky skin, chapped lips, inflamed and healing acne scarring, and so on. And if you look at the lips in this image, you can see these areas of texture issues over here. To fix any of these issues of a very small scale in relation to the image, we can use the key retouching tools to save time. And then to fix large and broad luminosity and color issues, we will use our Foundation Stick Pro and color correction tools. And when we have any mid-size skin issues that are a combination of all 3, luminosity, color, and texture, or just larger texture issues, that's when the Resurface button becomes extremely helpful, because the other tools would either render poor quality results or take unnecessarily long to fix. The Resurface tool works by separating small details such as skin texture from the large areas of underlying tones and colors in an image, so that you can work on each independently for precise quality results. This setup helps correct complex skin issues much faster than any other retouching tool or technique. But try keeping your adjustments subtle, because it is very easy to lose the realism of natural skin texture if you're not careful. Let's take a look at how this works. So if you press the Resurface button, a dialog box will open up that has a preset number, and this number is the amount of blur that you add to the image. So if we preview this, you can see that's blurring the image. And if for demonstration purposes, we took this up to a high pixel radius of about 30, you can see that that's blurring the image a lot more. And this will become what will be our base colors and tones layer. And whatever's not on this layer will be separated off onto the top texture layers. And let's take a look at that. So if we press OK to accept this new number, you can see that it's created a set of layers for us. And if we turn the group on and off by pressing the visibility icon, you can see there's actually no change within the image. So the Resurface button itself doesn't change the look of your image. It's how you work with it that changes the image. And if we turn off these top layers, there's our blurred base colors and tones layer. Whereas if we were to turn off the bottom layers, you can see that there is just the texture left. And the more blur that you select for the underlying tones and colors layer, the sharper the details that will be taken up onto this textures layer. And the more information each layer contains within reasonable separation, the easier it will be for you to work on each layer independently. So the 2 main layers are the base colors and tones layer and the texture layer. And then there are 2 additional layers, a empty work here layer and a texture work here layer that are above each of the base colors and tones and textures layers. And these are just empty layers for you to work on, but we will get to these later. And now that we've clearly seen the difference between the base colors and tones layers and the texture layers, I'm going to actually delete this group just by putting it into the bin icon here. And I'm going to repress the button, except this time I'm going to use the default number that came with the button. And that's because this number will work well for most images. And as you can see, that's blurring it a lot less with this number. So I'm going to press OK on that. And you'll be able to see a difference in that the base colors and tones layer has now got much less blur on it, and the texture layer has much finer texture on it. If we zoom in there, you can see that the texture is much finer than what we previously had. To affect the larger areas of colors and tones, we can work on this empty layer and our adjustments won't affect the texture. Whereas if we only want to remove some of the small distracting details on the texture but not affect the underlying tones and colors, we can work on the texture work here layer. And this is the general concept of how this button works, but there are a few details that you will also need to know, and we'll talk about them later as well. But right now, let me just demonstrate what all of this means and why this button can be your best friend that will allow you to fix complex skin issues fast and with a great outcome. The obvious issue in this image is this area over here. And before I start doing anything with it, I'll take a look at which parts of it are contained on which layer. So firstly, I'm going to take off the texture layers and take a look at it there. And then I'm going to take off the underlying layers and take a look at what parts of the issue are on the texture layers. Okay, so I can see that while the details and the rough skin are on the texture layer, because it is so raised, there's also a brighter area and its shadow that need to be minimized before we deal with the texture. You can also see that there's a lot of redness on that underlying layer as well. So I'm going to work on this layer. And I'm going to use a small heating brush tool to even out the highlight and shadow as well as the redness and try make it look as if the skin wasn't inflamed over here. So let me get my heating brush tool, and I'm actually going to turn off the texture layers for this and just quickly go ahead and work on this area. And I'm going to sample by pressing Option or Alt, and I'm just going to clean up the problematic areas. And let's take a look at what that's doing. And as you can see, that's evened that out quite a bit already. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another layer. And you can add as many layers as you would like between the base colors and tones layer and the texture layer. And I'm just doing this because if I want to make any more changes, I don't want to ruin the work that I've done here. And I want to be able to change the opacity of this layer or delete it if I don't like what I do. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to continue healing and evening out this section a bit more. Great, and let's take a look at what this layer is doing. And that layer is doing some good as well, but I do think the effect is too strong and I want to lower the opacity of the layer to something like that. And I might do this one more time. So let's get the heating brush tool again and just even out this area a little bit more. If we look at this layer, that's now evened it out quite a lot, and I want to lower the opacity of this layer as well because I think that the effect looks a little bit too strong on this layer as well. So maybe something like that. And let's take a look. And that's a much softer effect now. And if we take a look at all of those together, you can see that that's now evened out that area and removed the luminosity and color issues that we had. And just a note that when you're working on the base colors and tones layer, your tool needs to be set to current and below. Not current layer and not all layers, but current and below. And in the majority of cases, evening out the underlying tones and colors will actually be enough and you won't need to work with the texture at all. But because this image had such a raised blemish in it, there is some detail on the texture layer still. So if we take off the base colors and tones and just remind ourselves of that texture layer, you can see that that issue is still there in this layer. So now to work on the texture layer, we're going to pick up the clone stamp tool and we're going to make sure that it has a relatively hard edge. And that's so that we don't smudge any of the texture on that layer. And to make sure that the edge is hard, you just need to right click and move the hardness slider to about here should work. And then I'm going to make sure that I'm on my texture work here there, which is where I'm going to do my cleaning up of the texture. And there is one thing that you do have to memorize, and that's whenever you need to work on the texture layer, you will work on the texture work here layer and use the clone stamp tool at 100% opacity and 100% flow and have it sampling set to current layer, not current and below as we were using before, but current layer. If you have it set to anything else, it won't work, and I'll show you that now. So if I pick up my clone stamp tool as I've got here, and I've got it set to current and below or all layers, either won't work, and I sample and paint, you'll see that it comes up with an incorrect effect. So let me just Control Z that, and I'm going to put it back to current layer. And now if I sample and clone, you can see that it works correctly. And I'm going to zoom in quite close for precision and just make sure that I can get to that texture area well. And if I sample and clone, I want to be sampling from areas close to the texture so that I'm sampling similar texture and not disturbing the pattern of the skin too much. And this is just a really quick and easy process. And if we zoom out and toggle this on and off, you can see that that blemish has now been removed. The more you use this technique, the more intuitive it will become, and the more you will immediately see when you have an issue that can be best tackled with this technique, especially issues that contain color, luminosity, and texture issues all in one.